Hello everyone, welcome to the Nail Tip Show. With social distancing, we are staying home, which means we don't have access to the salon or to a professional nail tech to take care of your nails. Today I'll be sharing with you a couple tips on how to properly take off your nail enhancement at home and how to maintain them and care for them in the meantime. So let's get to it. Tools that you will need to remove the nail enhancements. Of course, you need 100% acetone. If you don't have that, then I recommend you go to Walgreens or maybe Sally Beauty Supplies if you could see if they have it there. But you need you need 100% acetone, okay? And of course, some cotton. I just use foil wraps at home. It usually comes to a long sheet like this, but I just kind of cut them out, and you don't need that big, so just cut it into like little piece, so then just enough to wrap around the finger. You also need a pusher, but if you don't have a metal pusher like this, you can also use an orange wood stick like this. But if you don't have one around the house, you can also eat one of the popsicle and use the popsicle stick as a pusher as well. And you need a buffer and a couple files. I recommend 100 and 150 if you could get it. You could go online and order it, but I would recommend get the 100 and 150, but you also need 180 for the natural nails. It's when you go online, you can get the one that with like this file where they have 100 grit on one side and 180 grit on the other side. Then that will be perfect too. And then of course you also need paper towels, and this is optional, but I recommend a towel. We're gonna warm it up and to speed up the soaking time. So that's another optional, but that's also a pro tip that you can soak it up much faster. So yeah, if you have all the tools ready, now we can go on to the tutorial. Most likely you will have gel polish on top of your natural nails, or dipping powder, and maybe acrylic nails. And you can either have short or long nails as your it's your preference for your nails. But today it doesn't matter what type of nail enhancement you have. I will share with you pro tips on how to take it off safely and easily. So first, before we move on, I want you to take a file, okay? For a pro tip, I recommend if you have new files like this, you want to season them, meaning you just kind of file them lightly so then it's not sharp when you work with it, okay? So that's a pro tip that I wanted you to use. So then you take a file now if you have just gel polish by itself, you just have to take the file, maybe 150 grit, and just lightly buff the shine off. Just buff all the shine off before you soak, because that way the acetone can penetrate into the gel polish and soak off even faster. And if you have dipping powder like her between that layers, then you also want to buff as much as you can, so then that way you don't have to soak too long. So then you begin like this. You just take a file and just lightly go on top of the nail, and then when you go to around the cuticle, just the side walls, just slightly gently buff that off. That's why I recommend using the 150 grit just for the gel polish. And then once you get to the dipping powder, you can change to 100 grit. That way you take off a little bit faster. So you just keep doing that until you finish the whole hand. once you taking that shine layer off, and if you could take the gel color off too, that would be great, but you don't have to. The main key is to take all the shiny layer on top off, because if you leave that shiny layer on, the acetone cannot penetrate through, and then it would take a lot of time for soaking. So, but those of you that have long nails like me and with acrylic and some designs on, then I'll recommend you take off some design off with a nail clipper, or if it's too long, I highly recommend you to cut off the length first. Okay, so that way you don't have to do a lot of work. So let's just say I want to cut it off. So that, see, I just have to cut it off before I'm soaking. So you do the same the rest of the nails. Another pro tip I want to tell you is that you don't want to cut too close to your free edge right here, because sometimes you have extra skin underneath, and if you cut it too close you might hurt yourself. So I always say leave a little length when you're cutting. See, and now I can still take the 100 grit, because this is acrylic, then I can just easily take off the color, the shine. I have the matte top coat, so you can't really see the shine, but you can also, with the 100 grit file, you can easily file off the gel polish and the acrylic a little bit. Now, when you have long nails like me, chances are your nail is slightly thicker than dip, and of course a lot thicker than gel polish. So you might have to do some more filing when you have acrylic, okay? So that just, but you can do the same thing. All you do is just shape the nails down as much as you can and clip that acrylic off as much as you can, so then you save a lot of time soaking. Okay, so now let's just say you have taken everything off. This is a dipping powder, okay, and this is acrylic. So when you soak off gel polish, it's gonna soak off much quicker, and then the dipping powder gonna be even quicker than acrylic. With acrylic nails, it probably takes the longest, so just bear with it, and just be patient with that. Maybe turn on a movie, catch up on a good show or something while you're soaking. Okay, so yeah, so then let's just say if you have dipping, now you're taking all the gel polish off. The next thing you could do, and even if you have the gel polish, same thing, take a foil, take your cotton. All you need is enough cotton to cover the surface of the nail. That's it. You don't want to put too much and then it get all over the skin. Okay, so basically I'm just gonna use my acetone, and remember, use 100% acetone. It will soak much faster. So what you do next is apply some on the cotton, the acetone on the cotton, place it on top. If you don't have enough, then add it in a little bit more, and then you just wrap them, and make sure the cotton have enough acetone to cover entire nail. Then you just roll that foil together and then make a burrito out of it, and that's it, and just leave it like that. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing. See, as you can tell, the dipping powder, I didn't take that much the powder down, but if you want to soak off even shorter time, then just keep on filing it off until you feel like you okay with that, and then you can soak them with acetone. So I'm just generously add some acetone to the cotton, place it on top, same thing, wrap it around the foil, and keep that tight, okay, because seal that tight and then it will penetrate to the nails. That's why I said you just cut the foil. You don't need the big sheet. Just cut them small, so then you just soak them. Okay, so now once let's just say you have all the foil, cotton, and acetone, everything in place like this, to speed up the soaking process, you can also take your towel, put it in warm water, or maybe soak it up with water and put it in the microwave maybe a minute or two, and then use the towel. Once you have it warm towel, just take that towel and then put it in for a few minutes. That way with the heat, it will accelerate the process, so then you don't have to soak as long. For gel polish, I would say check it about 5 minutes. Check your nails after 5 minutes and see if you have soaking all that gel polish off. But with dipping, I would say keep it on maybe 10 to 15 minutes before checking, because with dipping powder you do need to soak it off a little bit longer. And of course with acrylic, it will take you even longer. So I would say at least 20 minutes minimum for acrylic nails. It all depends on how thick of your acrylic nails are. So again, with gel polish, it's only about 5 to 10 minutes. With dipping powder, it probably takes about at least 10 to 15 minutes. And with acrylic nails, I would say from 20 minutes to half an hour. So just give you some guideline of the timing process. So yeah, but with a towel, like I said, it will speed up the process because of the heat, okay? So I'm gonna wait on this and I'm gonna check on it about 10-15 minutes. About 5 to 10 minutes, you should check the nails and make sure everything is nice and soft and sort of removing the acrylics or the gel should be sort of softened by now. Oh, nice. Okay, so this is like again, this is on a dipping powder, and I would say I waited for about 12 minutes already. So now I'm taking it off. So if you have just gel polish, then you should check about between 5 to 7 minutes. That should be good. Okay, so now if you look at it, you're taking the foil off. Now you have like a soft, gooey product on top of the nail. So now this is when you take the orange stick or a pusher and just lightly and gently scrape it off, but you don't want to do it too hard, okay? You don't want to do it too hard. Just gently, without any pressure, just kind of push and scrape that off, okay? Like this nail, you don't have much left, then don't pretty much just leave it alone. But like for this one, if you have some, then it's okay. All right, and just gently push everything off. But for a pro tip that I want to share with you, and which is very important, you don't want to take off completely 100% all the products off. The reason you want to keep some product on top of your nail plate, it will give you some protection in the meantime. So if you don't have completely off, which is better. So now all you do, take a buffer, just slowly buffing it out. I highly recommend you guys to keep some product on. That way it gives you some protection in the meantime, and all you do is once a week, you buff it lightly on top of the surface and then file the nails down. So then your nail is nicely shaped and strong in the meantime, okay? So now I pretty much remove everything. Well, not everything. You still have some, I still leave like a really thin coat on top of the nail. That way you can slowly transition it and then just let it grow out. But in the meantime, you still have little enhancement to keep that tip strong, okay? Since my daughter, she wanted to keep this length, so I'm gonna leave it on for her. But if you guys want to keep the nail shorter, you can easily take 180 grit when you work with the natural nails and just buff it lightly and then go down to the shape that you want. Or if it's still long, you can easily clip that off. But if you just want to take a file, like I said, 180 grit, just lightly buff it, like just kind of lightly file and tilt the file about a little bit out. That way you can file and soften that edge around the edge out here, so that way everything nice and soft, so then you don't have sharp edges. Okay, so that's how you do it, and basically it. And after you're done with everything, I highly recommend you take a nice cream, your hand cream or any essential cuticle oil, and apply them and leave it that on. So that is how you maintain them. I highly recommend you to put cream or oil every night. Keep a bottle next to your nightstand and just kind of moisturize it before you go to bed. That's the best time to do it, because you're sleeping, you don't wash your hand, everything the cream and the oil will nurture, will moisturize your hands, your skin, and especially your hangnails. Especially in the winter time, you really need that. So yeah, so this is a complete tutorial on how you can safely take off the gel polish with dipping powder as well. And like I said, if you want to soak off your acrylic, you simply soak it a little longer and that's it. And if you have long nails, just trim it short before you soak them with acetone. Okay guys, just like I said, with a good file and cuticle oil and cream, just moisturize them and keep them short. That's how you maintain them before you can go back to your nail professional. Again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Be sure to subscribe our channel. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye everyone.